from the banking space, with banks failing to resolve stressed assets through that famous acronym SDR, or Strategic Debt Restructuring, the Reserve Bank, we understand, is now framing new guidelines to deal with companies that have high debt in such a way that the promoters are not ousted. Remember, in the SDR mechanism, you are to oust the promoter. Nisha Poddar, who has got us this exclusive, has more details. Nisha, tell us all that you know.
Thanks so much for that, Lata. Of course, sources with direct knowledge of what really is transpiring between banks and RBI have stated that Reserve Bank of India is currently putting final touches to a new draft guideline or new guidelines for resolving the debt issues. And what banks have really proposed have been really taken up by the RBI, and those are getting really used for making these new guidelines. What I do gather, two important aspects and factors which would really come out through these guidelines is that, as you stated, the promoters won't be ousted as is being done in SDR, because banks have proposed to RBI and told them that if you oust the promoters, the revival of that particular asset is just not working out. That mechanism needs to stop, and the promoters need to be taken hand in hand for the revival of the company. And the second one, there could be a deep restructuring for bringing about a solution. So these two are going to be the important bits, but doesn't mean that all the companies with bad assets really are going to benefit, because the RBI is going to be extremely strict about which are the companies which would be eligible for qualifying to get this deep restructuring package going forward. So there are lots of things that banks have really suggested. Willful defaulters, of course, would be out of that list. Maybe a forensic audit of those particular companies would be done before a helping hand is lent out by the banking system. But clearly, a haircut from lenders as well as some equity erosion by promoters is what will definitely be the defining factor of these guidelines. So very soon, these could be really expected. That's what we are keeping on our watch list. And remember, in yesterday's RBI policy meet, the RBI governor did hint at new guidelines coming in for debt resolution. Hear him out.
There are discussions going on mechanisms that will leave projects with the right capital structures as well as access to credit, with also some incentives for promoters to earn their way out of difficulty.
Okay, well, that's the bit on that story. Thanks, Nisha, for joining us.